Hello and welcome to the iVP Planning Feature Spotlight for 23.10.0. Today I would like to talk a little bit about the new import pipeline. We have a new import for 3D files, images, PDF, DXF and plan files itself. Additionally, I would like to talk about 3D previews, path settings, global gizmo, and the new feature which we added, asset bundle autoload and auto download. Okay, so let's start with the local library. We added a local library for your library panel, which is located at the bottom of the panel itself. It's called iVP library because that's the default setting. What it does, it is your local library, which is kind of like a folder structure. So if I open this file here, wait a second. If I open the file here, you are able to see the location of the folder itself. And as you see, the structure of the local library is the same structure as the folder in your folder library. So what it does is that we are able to import plan files or 3D files or images, PDFs or DXFs. And if we place them into the local library, we get the file itself into the local library and the default setting for the local file. So if I just change something in here, so let's say I have imported the new control terminal as FBX in here, and if I change if I duplicate it or change it, it will be automatically imported as well. So I have it here now as a separate file. What we can do with that is that we can just delete stuff, add stuff, import stuff, and you will automatically have your local library in your library settings panel. So let's say if I just create a new folder in here, so let's say test folder, and I will just get these two images, and copy them and import them into the test folder. You will see automatically that this test folder here is like in your local library now. You are now able to use it in your iVP planning instance. If I delete this file here again, it will be gone, but the imported stuff will still be there. You can save it, but it's not in your library because you deleted it. After talking about the local library, we can now talk about 3D import. So what you are now able to do is to import custom 3D files in your local library. For example, I already imported the control terminal or like a cutting file, which is a GLV file or like an FBX file. You're also able to import OBJ files or STL files, something like that. And how you can do this is to go to File, to Import, and say, okay, I want to import the control terminal here. It's an FBX file. We support these files at the bottom here, FBX, OBJ, GLTF, GLB, STL, PLI, and 3MF. These files are like more not standard, but the first four are like standard. You can use them. So I will import the control terminal, which I already imported. Just click on the file and say open. So now we get this window here. It has path, it has a unit setting. The unit setting is important for like changing the size of the objects, because not every object is like in a millimeter or like a meter or like an inch. The up axis is important for us to have like the up axis of the 3D file. So let's say you worked with a left-handed coordinate system or like a right-handed coordinate system, you can just change like the up axis in here and have the file orientated correctly. Then we have the name, it's control terminal 23, and then we are able to add it to the library or override it to the library. So if we have something like control terminal, this one here, and it has a name, the same name as a file in the local library, then you are able to override it with the current settings. Or if you want to add it to the library, but don't want to overwrite something, you can just change the name in here. So for example, it's the second one. Then I am able to add it to library and just click confirm. I will just keep the settings millimeter and up axis Z, because I can then show you some differences between the unit and the up axis. So now I imported the file. I cannot see anything because I think the unit is wrong. For example, the file I already imported has like this, the right settings, it's the up axis is Y, the unit is M in meters, and this one looks correctly, the second one doesn't look correctly. What I'm now able to do is to change the up axis or the unit in here. So I say it's meter, so I have the right size now, and it's still rotated incorrectly. I will change the up axis to Y, and that seems fine. So what I'm now able to do is to apply it to a library. If I do not apply it to the library, the imported files will still be wrong. So I have the imported file here, and the up axis is Z, the unit is millimeter, so it's wrong. If I change it in here in the customization and apply it to the library, it will be correctly. So if I import it now, it seems fine. So yeah, what I'm now able to do is to just create my own local library with all the 3D imported files, which is kind of nice, and just place them accordingly. So yeah, for example, these are like little cuts in here, and yeah, you can just create the structure for yourself. So let's say I have 3D models and I want to separate them into something. Let's say I want to have a single folder for, I have a single folder for terminals, and I want to create a single folder for cuttings. I just can change the path of the 3D files here. So let's say terminals should be here, go into terminal, and the cuttings should be going into cuttings. So what I now have updated is the hierarchy of my 3D models here, which you can do for every imported file. So I have my cutting, which is working, and I have the terminal, which is also working. So yeah, it won't change like the imported hierarchy or something like that. It's just for showing the local hierarchy of the library here. And what you're now able to do is to save it. Let's say you have a standard library used for your plan, and you have some custom 3D models. You can go through the 3D models here and say include original file and plan. So if I save this one here now, the original file of the 3D model here, like the control terminal, will be saved in the plan itself. So if you give the plan to someone else, he will have the 3D model as well in his plan file. If you don't include it into the plan file, it will only save your local reference. So if the second user of your plan file doesn't have the local file in his save file, he won't be able to import it, because it will just be a placeholder then, because he doesn't have the 3D model itself. Okay, as I showed you some imported 3D models of the terminals, I will just show you something which we also added, is like importing plan files itself. So let's say I have a control terminal here, and I would like to have this one in combination with some other models in here, and save like this concept as a plan file and reuse it. So I will just import like the control terminal, which is this one here, and I will just add like a stuff. So it's like here, he's standing in front of the terminal, and I want to use this concept as a plan file in my local library. I will add it, I will save it into my terminals here. So I will just call it terminal with stuff. And now it's saved in the local library. And what I can do now is to reuse this plan file here. I just clicked on it. It's getting a folder here with the stuff itself in here. And I can just reuse it as much as I like. So I have it, place it in here, and then place it in here. So if I just say, okay, I would like to have 2 workers here. So let's say this was 1 worker and this one here is the second one. And then I'm able to just, I will delete these ones here, this one, and I also would like to delete the folders because this is my structure I would like to have. So I just can save this file here again, and the plan file itself will be updated, and I can re-import everything again and have another nice concept. With that, you're able to create some nice local library files for your concepts. Let's say you have saw nesting and cutting nesting and storage system. You can just create a plan file for that, put it into your local library, and just click on it, and it's imported, and then you're able to work with it. Keep in mind that these imported files are not changed if I change the plan file here. So these are like always written into the local iVP instance. You cannot update the plan file, and everything else will be updated as well. This is a system we are currently working on. It's called nested save files, but it will be in the next version of iVP planning. So just for an example, I will just save this file here. I saved everything in here, and I can click at it again, and everyone will be saved and imported again. This is also written now in the iVP instance, and if I save it again, I will be able to import it again. So that's like the thing you can do with import plan files. Okay, so the next file type which we are able to import is the PDF file type. I already imported someone here in my local library. This one is here like a plan, and this is a prospect. What we need to do to import something is to click File, Import, and then we are just having this PDF document here. And yeah, you are also able to filter by file type. Let's say we are filtering by PDF, and then you just get the PDFs shown, which are currently only PDFs, so it won't show that much. Double click it here, and then you get something like this panel. So what we have is page size with original file, scale, resolution, the name, and add to library. And what you're able to do is to change the page size setting from file to A0, A1, A2, A4, or like custom. So let's say I have an A1 and the orientation is horizontal or like vertical, depending on your file. So my file is A1 and the orientation is horizontal. So the width original file is 841, which is the same as from file. And the scale is 100 to 1. So this is the factor we need to upscale it so it has the right dimensions. And the resolution is for the sharpness of the import. So let's say you have a very big file and you want to change the resolution so it's sharp or not sharp. You can just increase the setting here or decrease the setting. The standard value is at the moment 144 because it's kind of a sharp file. So what I can do is just import it with the settings, and it should be the right scale. What I'm also to do is add it to the library, so it will be in the local library. I will not override it, just call it test with another name, and then add it to library and click confirm. So what I have now is I have this file imported. It has this size here, the scale here, the with original file. So you're able to change it. What you're not able to change in the customization is the resolution, because that's just an import setting. So we have this file here, which is 1 to 100, A1, and the orientations are horizontal. So this file looks fine. What you're now able to do is to change the transparency here. So to say it's from file or select color. If it's selected color, it doesn't make sense at the moment because we already have transparency. But what it should do is to replace a color with transparency. So if you have a white imported PDF, that you are able to make it transparent. So I select from file, tiling, you're able to have like the tiling here to duplicate it without duplicating it. So, which is more like useful for images, I think. So we just choose 1, and then you're able to change like the padding. So in these files, there's like most of the time something which is like text or indicators. So what we are able to do, just change here like the padding, vertical top, vertical bottom, like this here, and horizontal left, horizontal right. So what we have is like now this file with the padding, and I will just apply it to the libraries because the setting is fine for me. So what I have now is this test file in here, and I can just import it. To get a better overview of what resolution means, I will just re-import the prospect. So I will just go for the CapTech prospect and choose a low resolution. Let's say, I don't know, the scale is 50 or something like that. Resolution is 2. And then it's like very, very blurry, as you can see. I will just import it now with 72. So this is a little sharper. This is more blurry because it's 2 pixels. So that's why the size is a little bit different. And what you can also do is import it with a higher resolution, let's say 300. And then it's really sharp in comparison. So this is like not so sharp, and this is really sharp. This is just for like a little bit performance difference. Let's say if you have this file here with, I don't know, 700 resolution, it's just an overhead you don't need because it's taking the texture size higher and higher. Yeah, what you are able to do with that is just import everything and save it as you already know. So that's how you're able to use the PDF in your local library. The feature which we added, as you may have already seen or noticed, is the 3D preview. So what we are able to do is just have this preview here at the bottom left panel. And what we now have is that the 3D preview is always generated. So let's say I will just go again. So let's say I'm looking for a machine here, which I will change. And if I'm fine with this machine, I can just go with the mouse into the 2D or 3D panel here. So this one or this one. And as you can see, the 3D model is already following my mouse. So what I can do now is just press Control, and with the mouse wheel, you're able to rotate it as well. So I can place this machine here and take another one, place it like here, I mean, it doesn't make sense at the moment, but yeah, just have a nice fast iteration of placing objects in here. And then I could go for the stuff here and say, okay, this one is here, and this one is here at the terminal, and this one is here at the terminal. So it just makes it a little bit easier to place some 3D objects from the library. So yeah, the next thing which I would like to show you is a little thing, but it's always like useful to know about this setting. So let's say I have a machine in here and just import it. You know about this gizmo here, so I'm able to change the position according to the axis here. And this is currently always set to local. So I rotate the machine here, and this gizmo here is always pointing to the local direction of the model. So I just rotate it, and as you see, the red axis is always pointing to the end of the machine here. And what you are able to do if you want to just like duplicate this one here and place it, so you rotated the model and duplicated it and want to place it just on the world axis a little bit right, you can change the global space setting here. So what it does, it changes just the gizmo here to local to global, and then you can place it on this axis according to the other machine. So the difference between this machine and this machine is only the X position. While if I change it in the local space, it will change the position of X and Y. That's because of the local gizmo. That's kind of useful if you have something, like, let's say, for the stuff, and the stuff is like rotated, and you just want to change the position of them in a row. So let's go with that and have a row of objects instead of duplicating it and change the position by hand here. Setting which we added is also more convenience for the path tool. To create something in here is sometimes a little bit difficult, but what you're now able to do is to click on a path here, point. So let's say this path point here. And what we now have is this indicator here, this green line here, which is like the global axis. And according to this global axis, you're able to control the previous or the next point from the point selected. So let's say I have distance to previous point, y-axis angle to previous point, then distance to next point, and y-axis to next point. So as I can see, I have here 31. This is this edge here, and 22. This is this edge here. Let's say I want to create just a square with 20 meters. I can just change it 20 meters here, 20 meters. So I have now changed the distance, which is according to the line from this point to the next point. So if I change the position here, you can see it's on this line here. I will change it to 20. So what I can do now is to change the angle, but not according to like something, the next point or something like something else, but to the global axis we defined. So it's like a clock. If I rotate it clockwise, you can see this size here is kept, and the angle is from the blue line here. So let's say it's 45. Then it's 45 degrees from this line to this point, to this line to this line. So with that settings, I'm now able to do some nice constructions here. Just go to this point here and say 0, minus 90, 20, 20. So this one is the next one. This one is already set up. Distance to next point is 20 meters, minus 90. And the next point is already 20 meters and minus 90. So what I have now is a nice square in here with 20 meters. So if I add a point here, I can just change. Let's say I would like to have a roof here, something like that. I can just change the axis, or not this point. Wait a second, it's not this point. 90 degrees. But the next point, and I would like to have it, this one's 270 and 200. Oops, minus 145. So something like that, and just change the size in here, 12 meters and minus 25. So yeah, with that you're able to have some more control over the settings. Yeah, that's the new feature which we added to the path tool. So yeah, the next big change is located in the settings, but it's more in the backend side of planning. So what you're now able to do is to go to the settings, to library, and then you have overview of the access rights for content packages of yourself. So I have a lot of access, but what you're able to do is to just say, I want to load, auto-load it, yes or no, or I want to delete it, which means it will be deleted on your local machine. So let's say if you don't want to have, I don't know, the Weinmann package, it's just set to delete and it's not auto-loaded, or like the edge tag, or let's say the store tag package. So what it does, if you select this one and then close planning, it will be deleted on your local file. If you just click load, it would be automatically keep up to date and loaded into your local instance. So this is just a setting for your convenience to save some space. If you know something of, I don't know, models which you don't need in planning, you also don't need to update them or like load them. So you can just select delete here, and then it will not be updated, which makes the whole application a little bit faster and smaller. Yeah, we will add a description for the content packages, as there are like some still missing. It's going step by step, but with this feature here, you are able to just have more control about your local iVP planning instance. If you are wondering why you don't have access to a machine, you can just activate this toggle here, include unload machines and search, and then search for like, I will search for CenterTech P110. So yeah, for example, this one is an updated version of the P110, which is currently in development. It's in CenterTech 6, and CenterTech P110 is in CenterTech 3. So what I can do now to say, I go to settings, library, and scroll a little bit down and say CenterTech 6. Here, this one, it will not be automatically loaded. So I can just save the space. If I say automatically loaded, you see it's downloaded here at the bottom. And then I'm also able to just use it here, CenterTech P110. Just click in here and I can use it. So as you saw, we also have a little indicator for downloading buttons, which is more convenient for yourself to know, okay, it's working or not. Just an example, yeah, it's loaded here. And as I loaded it just recently, I cannot delete it. Just in the next iVP instance start.